All right, Richard, how are you feeling? Richard, my brother is here. And how are you doing? We are going to do another recap. I can't believe we've done so many episodes already. Kind of crazy.
Let's get it. We're getting towards the end, so I'm ready to
Episode
go.
number 8. Yeah, it's a really cool show. And it's funny when we chat with other family members now, we'll have in regular life, Richard and I will have little like soft arguments that aren't arguments at all. They're just like, well, what about this? And then think about it like this. And well, have you thought about it like that? And we're loud and it sounds as if it's an argument, but it's not. And
You're
we keep
loud and I'm right.
totally not the way the real story went, but we'll let Richard have that. Okay. And what I've done a couple times, I think you have too, Richard, will explain to said family members like, oh, this is the kind of shit you hear on another random recap all the time because it's not on purpose. It's just we really happen to have differences of opinions on a lot of things. So the challenge, of course, is no less. The things that Richard thinks are important, I'm just like, the things that vice versa. It's a I guess it's a shit show. I don't know.
Winning is very important. Winning is very important.
Yeah. But anyways, I just was wanting to say I was proud as far as an accomplishment because while we're watching these contestants and they're getting closer to their finale, in theory, so are we. To do a show, is not easy. Um, I've done shows with so many people in the world of radio because that's the industry I worked, and I've talked with Richard for years and years about these TV shows, but never got you to do a show. So you should give yourself a round of applause after season 1 of Allstars, season 2 of Allstars, and now we're on season 3, almost done. You've been very consistent and have been pretty smart with some of the stuff you've analyzed on this show.
And yes, flattery will get you everywhere. Woohoo! Let's go.
I
Keep
was
it
just
coming.
being I was just being honest, but I mean, okay, all right. Well, let's talk about episode number 8. We're going to be going bananas, going Johnny bananas, if you will. When we come back from the house, we have Derek and Mark. They're kind of bonding. We know that each of them are their number ones, and that's it's we know it. We don't. I don't know if the people in the house know it, but we definitely, as an audience, know it. Um, and they make a little joke that like it's inspiring because Mark, damn, he might play this game well into his 60s. And so just kind of a nice little nod, a nice little camaraderie the two of them have about his age and how he basically, the Godfather can't stop, won't stop. Now,
Yeah,
somebody
it's like he's setting the mark for what's possible for the rest of them that are following. Not the older we get, the we don't feel younger, but the way Mark's playing this game gives hope to older people, Derek, Brad, who are just following him, not, 7, 8 years behind him.
I would imagine if I was, all these real world homecoming shows keep happening. And to that, a lot of the question then becomes, oh, would you ever do a challenge? Well, a lot of people have worn off doing challenges past, I don't know, 36, 37, 38 because of just the way the body, it's, and the challenge keeps getting deeper and more aggressive and more, death defying almost. And so Mark really is the representation of, the Godfather, and it's great to see. Now, what did you think about Nia's confidence after Jordan's elimination? Um, do you feel like she was being sort of like Janae? Do you think she was being a little too soft? Did you understand her point of view? And how did you feel to see that Nehemiah, of all people, was genuinely offering the support?
I think Naya's always kind of been one of her biggest downfalls. I feel like just even when she was younger, or she would do certain things to sabotage something that's good. And so, seeing her without Jordan, it kind of brings back those old memories. And it was nice to see Nehemiah, go to her and ask her what's her why. It
Mhm.
shouldn't have to be on another person. Like, you got to find it within yourself. Because once you own yourself, then no one else could take you down, or no other situation can do that.
And they
So,
were good. They were. Go ahead.
yeah, no. So it was just good to see that, and it was a genuine moment for both of them.
It was genuine with him, who I make jokes about here on the show, but what was genuine is I did think in my head, I said, he's literally done season 1, season 2, season 3, sort of back to back to back. Obviously, 2 to 3 was a little tighter, I think, in the scheduling, but nonetheless, to put yourself out there for season after season after season. And maybe Ronnie doesn't like his confessionals. I think he should hire me. I can make him a little bit better with his confessionals. But more than anything, I did like to hear that he's referencing that it is important for him to do this. He's supporting some people in his family. So it was a really nice, positive Nehemiah moment. And sometimes the best moments come when you have to step up and be there for somebody else, such as Naya in this case.
Yeah, and you even hear Mark say something really nice about Nehemiah later when they're talking about people throw in. We have good talks. Obviously, Mark's mother's going through cancer, and Nehemiah's affected through the family and stuff. So it's nice to see the softer side. This is all games, and you want to, put yourself in the best position to win, but you're also a person in real life as well.
And it doesn't get redundant to me. To me, it doesn't get redundant in the respect of, like, we know some of these stories already, or like, oh, here comes another emotional story. I love it. That's what the challenge flagship doesn't do. And that's why we're detached. We don't understand the stakes. Like, even though they're younger people and they're social media influencers, or they're on some TV show for 5 minutes, so you don't really know who they are. We need to know more who the people are. And I think this Allstars version does a little bit better at that. Anyways, don't want to dwell. We'll move on from that. The song Amber 311. Of course, I know you like that song, so I just wanted to make a mention. Good use of the score in the episode.
And there's a little rainstorm while they were playing that song. So it's like it was just a quick clip. Nice sunny days, and all of a sudden rainstorm.
That's why the song was vibey. Yeah, it worked. I remember you stating once, I think this was with Flagship, you said they have to be in more fun, outdoor, little rainfall, but mostly warm conditions. It's so much better as a viewer. And to that point, I totally remember that this episode. We can't have them in the, we just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't put them in a dungeon where there's no air, no life, and everyone's just miserable.
It's a tough show, but you have to give us aspirational living to a degree. You want us to want to be on that island or wherever they're at. You want us to be in the elements, and I just kind of thought of that today.
Yeah, you want fun, you want practical jokes, you want like good living amongst the competition.
Now the competition's heating. The competition is heating up, and it feels like everyone's like kind of in a playful state at this moment. Nothing really is looking to change, but all of a sudden, we do already sort of know that Veronica fell, probably drunk or something like that, and she really hurt her toe or her foot or ankle or something like that. But did you see out of nowhere that she becomes medically eliminated? And how was your reaction to that?
Yeah, I kind of feel dumb about this one because she mentioned it 2 or 3 times, I think, last episode. I missed a step, I hurt my toe. And I'm like, yeah, it's just your toe. Like, even if you broke it, you should be good. But why are they saying 2 or 3 times? And the reason I feel dumb is, like, I should know the reason why they said it. It's foreshadowing for TJ in this episode. They kind of, like, rip our hearts out and be like, damn, you're gone. And I think everyone's kind of stunned by that.
I don't know that I saw it 2 or 3 times last episode, but I remember that the clip was her walking sort of at the top of the stairs or whatever, and we didn't get to actually see the fall. So I knew that because we didn't see it, but we were hearing the explanation for it, it had to be some kind of something. But at the same time,
why would they mention it over and over and over for just a toe? I mean,
but then on the flip side, you sometimes don't know if that's just Veronica not being a baby by any means, but just her, she's an attention getting person, like, and she kind of showed it being sort of banged up, and she's like, oh, it hurts, and you almost feel playful with it. And even when Veronica was walking up to the challenge, she felt like, what's up? Well, let me tell you something, TJ. You were the curse, and so it got real confusing to me because I was like, she didn't even seem like she could not compete. Veronica seemed as if there was nothing wrong. So to me, Richard, I gotta say, I was really shocked when it came by surprise like that.
Well, he even mentioned it. He said, "I know you would keep going on a broken toe. It's just more of a liability with the company." And we look at our at the challenge in a little bit. you're not even really using your toe. But I'm thinking they're thinking if she makes the final, there's no way she could do, and that's where the liability. And she's not going to heal within a couple days from a
Well,
broken toe.
expect the unexpected. She could have gave all her stars to Kayla. You know, like she could have chose someone on her team and stunk up that team, let Kayla win. I don't know. But I did feel bad. That's all you can do is feel bad for her. Veronica is the challenge on so many levels. You know, people who watch the show knew, they're like, oh, who is this girl? And it's like, no, Veronica was the longest running challenge contestant for a very long time. And I like that she was honest. She looked right to camera and she goes, this one's gonna hurt. Like this is not gonna be easy to get over. And what does that tell you, Richard?
She's a competitor.
And she's coming back. Like she's if they edited that in, they're casting her. Maybe not the next one.
Hello, you play to win the game.
So for the challenge, we have flight pattern. We say bye to Veronica. It is a sad situation. This is basically where they're going to get in a helicopter. They're going to see in the lagoon. They're going to see this puzzle piece or whatnot, and they're going to have to memorize it while they're in the helicopter. They jump down, and then they got to go swim to the particular piece where the puzzle station is and sort of recreate it. So you're not really getting the best optimal, shot. You're kind of just at the helm of the helicopter. So this could be really ugly for some people, and it could be really fun and easy for others. It is a timed event, so the fastest will be safe from elimination. Of course, they have to put up the authority and all that stuff. Oh, and as a note, because Veronica leaves, the women are going to win Veronica's star. So,
yeah, I mean, I think this is probably one of the most fun challenges that was there all season. If I could pick what challenges I like the most, I think this would be the most fun. Jumping out of a helicopter.
Yeah, does this seem like, for the people who are afraid of heights, does this seem like a real big, like scary moment though, huh?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, we've had over the years where people have to jump off of stuff, but I think on this one, at least you get to control your body. I'd rather do something like that where you're jumping off than something where, sometimes on trivia or something, like they throw you and it's harder to get control of your body where you land maybe on your face or something.
Yeah.
Where this, you're kind of like jumping at your own pace, and you could, what they say, pencil into the water, so that you could not make it hurt and get to your next spot as quick as possible.
I'm no spring chicken, and this body is not gliding quite as nice as it once did. So I agree with everything you say. I would rather maybe jump out of a helicopter, though very scary, opposed to the other ones where all of a sudden the floor drops out. You have no real control. And there's an adventure aspect of this one. This one kind of seems like you're in control. Like you said, you get to do the jump. You get to kind of almost navigate it in a way that you want. And Kellyanne was having a ball, which I gotta say, as hard of a season as she's had, it made me so freaking happy to see her happy. That's just it. Period. Point blank.
She's taking joy. It's good to see joy. Like, you see so much arguing or bickering or the evilness and the ugliness of people. And she's just like, I didn't know I like jumping out of planes, but it's kind of what I do now. Like, I'm a jump out of plane person.
Yeah, I always say with the edit, they punch typically so much with the drama, but there's other ways to make these shows compelling. And if you've seen somebody get her ass handed to her, practically going up every single time because of the treehouse, and you have this duality between that, and now she's kind of winning and in a good position. Let's show that positivity. So I was really into that. Made me really root for her. She goes up there first with Mark. Mark kind of explains that he thinks it's the toughest position, which I would say we both agree with that statement.
Yeah, in general, I mean, this is probably the best one to go first because it's like memorize, jump in water, and copy it onto the puzzle board. So there's not a lot of different ways you could do that. But in general, yeah, you never want to go first because usually the first person's guinea pig and, they're trying to figure out what's the best way to go about things. But being that this one doesn't have a lot to it, I would say this one would have been the best one to have to go first.
Those ones that are a truck and then you got to, jump on a ledge to another part of the truck and get the carabiner and then open this into that. Those ones are the ones that I really feel like if you go first, you don't see it played out, and then you could like be
Are the
like, oh
ones
shit.
with like ropes? Like, is it better to go with 2 feet or 1 foot and one hand? Like
Yeah.
little stuff. Those are the ones you don't want to go first, for sure.
Richard, what a very disappointing voiceover, and not in the regards of the cast member, but in regards of the production itself. This had to be phoned in later, and I guess they didn't get him proper equipment because all of a sudden you hear Brad have a sentence, and at one portion of the sentence, it's like, between me and everyone at home, we all just really want to win this thing. Did you hear that? It maybe because I've worked in radio for so many years, but it was like strung together as one sentence. But it was the words, because I wrote them down. Between me and everyone at home was the voiceover, which nobody could tell me that was natural. That had to be asked upon him later. Hey, can you send us this voiceover to make the sentence a little clearer and neat? But the way it sounded, it was so it made me, once again, it said, between me and everyone at home, we all really want to win, or something like that. Oh, it was rough, Richard. It was so bad. And I got to tell you, our Rinky Dink show, we don't always have the best audio, but we are not a professional television show with all the resources. Like, couldn't somebody get him a kit to his house, or have him? He's in a major city. Doesn't he live in Chicago? Major city. Get him on a clean mic. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe that. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but it was hard for me to hear.
Yeah, I mean,
did you notice it?
I did not, but now that you did that, I mean, now that's going to be like, when you're watching a show and the sound isn't paired up with the action.
Yeah.
Now that's how it's going to be for me if I go back and watch. It's going to be just jumping out there. But
and for the record, it's not manipulation or anything like that, like editing a false storyline. Sometimes, and I know this for a fact, and you know this is true for me. Sometimes I can be long-winded, and sometimes the producer just needs to. Sometimes the producer just needs to get a more concise sentence. So maybe he made some really great points, and I can't remember what the context of what Brand was saying there, but it was something along the context like, between me and everyone at home, we all think this. We're all excited about this, or something of that nature. So I totally get it. But, you either got to tell your cast member, and I've seen this on Real Housewives. They mess up on this a lot. It just always makes me cringe. Again, if my show's shitty, that's fine. Like, it's, this is an independent project. We work really hard, but you can't, I worked in real radio, you can't let that shit fly. So it's amazing how that shit flies these days. Because no, heads will roll. So that's just something that I thought was interesting.
MTV, if you're looking for an editor, RandomlyRJ.com.
Oh, I mean, I don't have that skill set, but I could definitely be an assistant editor, and I'm really good with sound bites. I've worked on America's Got Talent. The season Howard Stern was there, so I'm really good with sound bites. I actually do speak from a little bit of experience. I'm not just saying shit to say shit. Anyways, let's move on, because this is not the Ronnie show. Or is it? So I really loved Kellyanne saying, maybe I should get a job jumping out of helicopters. And I know you alluded to something like that earlier.
Yeah, it's just the joy in her doing the challenge, and she's done probably the best on challenges that she's having fun in.
She kind of seems like a fun girl. You asked that question, how does she not get along with everybody? Maybe it's just a bunch of people that don't make sense with the kind of, personality that she has. I mean, she seems kind of kick-ass. She does the yoga. She likes animals. She's a competitor. She's kind of quiet. Yeah, I don't know. The next people to go up are Derek and Kayla. Kayla struggles, and this makes Kellyanne very happy, is my note. That's kind of all I got from that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to this challenge overall. I mean, it's jump in.
Yeah, Wes and Janae. Janae's error is that she falls far from the platform, so she has to swim quite a bit. So that's kind of an error that you have to slap on the wrist later, because there's just kind of no way to really win when that happens.
Yeah, well, it gets you thinking, because Wes goes, "Oh, how'd you do?" She's like, "Oh, I got it all," but she landed so far from her platform and her puzzle that it took her forever to get there.
So in theory, she did a good job, but she didn't put herself in the best position to win.
Yeah,
but her confidence, man, is good. I love her confidence through it all.
Yeah, I mean, she's Wes goes, "Oh, how'd you do?" And straight out, "Oh no, I got every single one. Yeah, I got it."
Good for her though. Brad and Naya. Naya's nervous or sad. I would. What do you think? More nervous?
Nervous, and like I said, this is self sabotage, Naya. But I'm not trying to say that in a bad way to her, but it just seems. I mean, this is outside looking in. Obviously,
Yeah.
she could come back at me. No, I'm not. So okay. You're right. I don't know who. I can't be inside your head, but it's to me, it's self sabotage, Naya.
No, she struggled. Naya
And
struggled.
she mentioned she doesn't like heights either. So like it's a little bit both. So
Well, that's what made me think she did. She got nervous, but I think she ultimately did that one. The was it the trivia where they were standing and they were able to drop if they didn't get the first place in the heat. She did that one, didn't she?
yeah, I think she's done every one.
So
She's,
maybe she's onto something, or the mind's a powerful thing. If her mind says she was probably scared that day, I'm not going to do it, and Jordan's like, you could do
yeah,
it.
I mean, she mentioned she was super scared on the one where they just went out to the ledge. They didn't even jump,
Okay.
and I think she ended up going out. But she's mentioned she's scared of heights all season.
Yeah.
But now she without a person there, she didn't do it, and that's the thing you're trying to get Nia. Like, hey, you got to be like the most confident person in yourself. You can't rely on other people.
I'm curious to know after she went through that experience, like I'm talking about today, this was months ago. She watches it back on television. I feel like she may have gained that confidence now. Obviously, a bit too little, too late. I mean, we don't know. We really don't know at this point.
Yeah,
Actually,
I
yeah.
mean, it's there. If just Jordan being there gives her the confidence to do it, you know it's inside of her. It's just trying to find like what makes her tick, where she doesn't need another person there to do it.
I don't want to compare anything because this is a physical, strenuous, one of the most toughest games ever to play. Like you say, it's the fifth sport. So kudos to everyone who's out there doing a good job. I'm eating bonbons right now, like doing nothing.
And I
Yeah,
can't say it's the fifth sport. It's Bill Simmons who coined that. And now you see it all over. You see CBS saying it, or just all over the place. So
yeah,
pretty impressive to get that notoriety.
yeah. The
Bill Simmons
challenge.
saying it what about 10 years ago, and now you have other people saying it. And not only just Twitter or here or there. It's like legitimately part of their slogan. We're the fifth main sport.
It's highly respected. And what I was going to ask is, what was I going to ask? I was going to
Oh,
ask
shout
something.
out to Bill Simmons. Just we'll just give him a shout out.
A shout out, yeah, a Massachusetts shout out. I was like, I had a great point, and then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, was it 10 years ago that sentence came out?
It's been
But
a
no,
while.
I don't remember. Okay, we'll move on. I'm sure I'll bring it back up at some point. And she's struggling, but Brad is actually very confident, and to the point that he might not have even seen that there had to be a red line to match up. So you're kind of on the edge of your seat to see if he did it correctly. Anyways, moving forward, we've got Nehemiah, who is strategically losing, and he's failing on purpose. Is that what he said, or is that what I heard, Richard?
All right, so who we got for winners? I mean, that's what he said, but I mean, we don't have to give. He's been saying that all season. He's laying low. He doesn't want to put people up, and
And that's it.
he does
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. And
There's a
I mean,
strategy. Yeah.
no, it
Yeah.
is a strategy because you don't want to. Once you put people up, they're going to put you there. Um, every season's a little different with whom you're playing with, who's invited, who goes home early, who goes home late, and I mean, you kind of see it at this point. It's pretty much Wes and him versus the other three. So
Yeah, he
I mean,
played he
there's
played he played loud and above the line
yeah.
with the Save the Palace group, and now he's playing below it just to kind of keep quiet. But he amuses me, so we'll move on. So we've got two men that got the pattern correct, which was Mark and Derek, and ultimately Mark is the winner. But what a feeling for Mark and Derek to hear that they're the two that got the highest as far as time, because they're each other's number one. I mean, they're doing all the strategy. Like, this has got to feel like right when it's a clutch moment, actually.
Yeah, but they also have the most stars. Both of them, I think, have four each.
So
And so
that's
you got to know, like, even though they're number ones, you're like, if I didn't win it, which Derek didn't, and Mark would have felt the same way if it was him, why not go at the person with the most stars if you have to go in later in?
that's the part of the target that they retain no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate that part of the game. Okay, I won't
No,
say
that's the
nothing. I
best
just
part of the game because I mean that's the
Well,
part
I
of the
mean, I hate
game.
it to preserve yourself. Like you like there's not much you could do to preserve it. You could be happy that your best friend, your number one, is in it and is doing good, but then it sucks for you because you're like, oh
This is
shit.
not a team game. You shouldn't have a bestie that you have to worry
I mean, I
about.
don't say it. They're the ones who say it. This is my number one or whatever. And I
But
don't think they
still, but how you're saying, oh, they win, but then they don't get to. No, I mean, there's only one winner.
Well, there's only one winner, and you got to go in. If you're the person who didn't get
Yeah.
the win, you got to say, look, I got to tell my guy, let me do the choosing because I want to see what the arena, what the elimination looks like, the challenge,
Mm-hmm.
or no, call one of them out, and if they call me out, then I deal with it. Like you make whatever decision works best for you. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. But Richard, oh, go ahead. Did you have anything else on that?
No, I was agreeing with everything you said, which doesn't happen all the time. So, good
Oh,
job.
clip it.
Goodbye, you.
It's only
Hey, good job. Good job.
it's only been 3 seasons. Clip it. If you're playing our will they ever agree drinking game, take a sip. It's your first time.
Chug it.
So impressive, and we mentioned this a second ago, but impressive. Janae and Kellyanne, they got the pattern correct quickest. But of course, because of the stuff that Janae went through, as far as jumping too far away, she doesn't win. Oh wait, no, Kellyanne was the fastest, or was Janae the fastest?
Kellyanne was the fastest, but she had
Oh, the thing
the
I said about
right,
Brad, the
but
red star, the red, right? It wasn't.
yeah, it was just like
Holy, I mean,
wrong way, pretty much. Holy moly, what's going on over
sorry if I am
there?
sorry if when we first did these episodes I was prim and proper, but I am really, it's just so many twists and turns because I literally thought the story went Janae kind of fucks up, but she's so tenacious. She, hey Wes, it don't matter. I got it. And then you kind of, as a viewer and a supporter of Janae, you're like, oh, she totally can't beat Kellyanne because, I mean, she was so far away. And then Kellyanne makes an error like that. These games are made in a way that you have to check off every element. You can't
Well, I mean, you
DQ.
can't just say that. I mean, everyone probably beat John A to the thing, but they just didn't get the pattern correct.
Well,
And
that's what I'm saying.
Kellyanne
Yeah.
kind of got it correct. Yeah, got them all
Well,
wrong.
that's why it's a two-part. It's like who's the fastest and gets it correct. So you
Yeah,
could get
just
there
pay
fast.
attention. That's all you got to do.
I know, but it really leaves it up for everybody. And there's a part of me that kind of likes that about this game. It doesn't really mean, I mean, you would want to think who's the best. Brad and is Janae the best girl right now?
Right. I mean, that's.
Okay, hypothetically. But if each of them don't follow or do a thing correctly,
I would say John A's the best with puzzles
they're liable
and memory.
to make an error. It's just a crazy game. It's a crazy game. Anyways, Naya and Janae talk about who should go to the arena. And then did you have any impact on that, Rich? Do you have any thoughts on Naya and Janae kind of trying to
I mean, I think
strategize?
we could just kind of go through all of it because John A
Please,
talked
yeah.
to Naya, talked to Kellyanne, and talked to Kayla, and pretty much all the things were similar. Obviously, there was a little side like, oh look, she's scared, but in the general, they all said the same thing: throw me in and let me pick.
Is there ever a chance that that's a dumb way to say it? Like, is there ever a chance that you just lay low and not get picked? Nehemiah didn't get picked.
Well, the thing is, yeah. So, the difference is Veronica's not there. So it's one less person. So the likelihood is not as much, but then the difference is as well with Naya being so much bigger than the other two, like taller, and you don't with her. You're not going to pick her on if the game's based on like size and weight because the other two are about the same size.
Yeah.
But if it's a puzzle, then you may pick Naya.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
more,
I mean,
more the arena's going to tell you who to pick out of those, not necessarily the person that you're
It's kind
closer
of cool
to.
that they let them see the arena and make the choice there. I feel like some challenges don't let you do that. You have to make it beforehand. It's like, well, how am I going to pick this person if I know it's a hall brawl or not? Like, I kind of enjoy that they get that last minute chance.
Well, that's the second half of the season where you get called in, which I like. You get to call someone out, so people can't hide.
Yeah,
Where at the start, when they had authority, they were taking the last place and then throwing someone in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wes and Nehemiah kind of talk. Nothing really too eventful there. Everyone's really
Hey, it
stressed.
was a great moment. It's like this is my buddy, my brother. We were going back into the paddle boards like a couple episodes ago. You didn't like it? It was heartfelt.
The paddle boards were good because they both assessed that they were not winning, and they both assessed how they could make it more peaceful with my brother, that kind of thing. This was good too because they did the flashbacks. Austin is not my favorite season, but at least the flashbacks do kind of
What? Really?
no, 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 no. The flashbacks at least do something to add to the story, I guess. Yeah, I mean it was good. I mean, that was good. I mean, it was fine. Fine. It was eventful. Everyone's strategizing though. Everyone's kind of having their heart to hearts. But within that, or was there anything else to mention? Because I was gonna say within that, Wes also has a surprise. I think we could get right into that surprise right now, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not too crazy, but yeah, it was. I mean, I
Well,
believe
describe.
I believe Mark wants to talk to him at this juncture.
Yeah, he's like, no, 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 I got something up my sleeve. What did you take from the Zoom call? And did you think it was something bigger? Did you think it was like Johnny was coming to the episode, to the show, or what were your thoughts?
Well, knowing the name of the episode, I figured something was going to happen with Johnny Bananas. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was probably manifested through, hey, can I make a call to him? And production probably loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And him, what do you say? I'm bringing in an intellectual mercenary that I have to talk to.
Yeah,
So that was a good, it's a good TV moment. We haven't seen Johnny Bananas since was it?
at least 2 challenges ago.
Yeah, I think 35 maybe.
That's the one he won. Well,
Yeah,
eight's
35
coming
he
up.
won.
7 and 6 he wasn't on, so yeah, it would have been
Yeah,
5.
yeah. So we haven't seen him for a little bit. So it was good. And
And that was the season they were underground, and that was the season him and Wes actually did get along. Remember?
yes, and they actually teamed up, and everyone was like freaking out that they were teaming up, and they didn't get it because for
Yeah.
so many years you could just sit back for the first couple of weeks and let them two duke it out and get one or the other person out,
Mm.
and then you would just sit back and you wouldn't have to play the game until week 5 or 6.
Yeah. So then, yeah, they were the entertainment too. Pay him more.
I mean, yeah, I mean he did. Johnny Bananas had to get his hat at some point, and that was a whole another banana hammock type thing.
Yeah. Well, we saw some ass cheeks this episode too, or did we not? We saw bananas riding it all the way up, and giving Wes the performance that Wes was waiting for. So
in general, I mean, if we want to talk about this whole situation, I mean, it's funny, it's this, it's that. Um, Wes is trying to be like the guru, like throw me in, all these little things. In general, I don't think any of this matters. It's not like Mark and Derek; they're dumb as players. Like they already probably have their ideas, their decisions. Nothing at this point of the game, even though I liked it, I thought it was funny. Nothing Wes could have done could have been changing their mind, even though he plays around like, "Hey, throw me in, do this. I want to get thrown in." I mean, if anything, that probably made them not want to throw him in because people don't want to do what Wes wants to do, except for Janet. She just wants to get rid of him.
yeah, it was entertainment really only. Very rarely could anything cross over like that where it's like so set in stone already, but then somebody propositions something so out of left field. And even if it is out of left field, it requires the person who gets the information to have to sort of stab somebody in the back in order to do it. And why would you stab your own person in the back, your own, your number one or whatever? to suffice this other person. Yeah, it may strategically level you in a really good winning position, but if that shot doesn't hit, it's going to be more than one person mad at you. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I laugh sometimes these edits. I'm like, really? Do we need to hear who Sylvia thinks is going to go in? It's like, we know, but so for the sake of entertainment, this was a nice distraction, sure.
Yeah, and I mean, we're kind of talking about the authority right here anyway, so I mean, might as well get kind of into it. But
yeah, we're actually wrapping the show quite soon, so hit me with your thoughts on the authority, and then we'll get into sort of how everything is starting out with the challenge.
Yeah, so like we were saying, Mark and Derek had already talked about throwing Derek in just to give him the chance. Like, so obviously Wes goes and he's like, they pick Derek to go in, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't get my wishes," but like in general, he had no choice, and he wasn't going to get thrown in anyway. And it gives Derek, who he knows is going to get chosen by either Wes or Nehemiah, if they were to be the ones thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
So now Derek has a chance. He gets to see the arena and sees which one he wants to go against.
Yeah, and this one was a rematch of sorts.
Yeah, they show a flashback, and Derek's been in many pole. Well, this one's like called Light the Fire, but
yeah,
they're mostly pole wrestle. And him and Wes have gone at it where Wes beat him, and Derek's gone through. He had that epic one in Joss, which was a couple seasons ago, not too long ago, where I think I heard it went almost like an hour, 2 hours, or something like that, and he wasn't even part of the game. He just came out as a mercenary.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always a fun one to see. And then, like we talked earlier about Janae, like all the girls wanted to go in, so she had the pick of the litter, and she wasn't going to get in trouble by any of them by putting them in.
Yeah, that is true. And we don't even see that matchup this episode.
Well, if you want to get to the arena, I mean, and then we could go with the speculations on both of those things.
Okay, well, let's do it now.
All right. I mean, well, we start with the poll they pick. Obviously, we get
and it is the same match as usual, but there's like a little extra element to it. But I don't think it's anything too dramatic that makes it
it's
harder
a pole
to win.
wrestle, and light it on fire.
Yeah.
But Kayla and Derek are the ones picked, and Kayla picks Kellyanne. Obviously, smart move. Same size, he gives her the best chance. And Derek comes out, and he has Wes, who he's lost to before. He's have a rivalry 16 years. And then he has Nehemiah, who he has the little rivalry from season 1, where he got Nehemiah. Nehemiah got season 2. This is third one. He ends up going with Nehemiah, and they start off with the pole wrestle.
Did you like the teaser? Like, did you like it to be continued? I did not.
Okay, yeah, I love television shows. I love binging shows, and give me a good teaser. I'm all in. Give me to the next episode. We cannot binge this, so having to wait a whole week just to see who goes home in the first 5 minutes is terrible for me. So I'm waiting to see who wins, and I'm checking foot by foot. Let's get a little picture in picture. Like, are they about to go out of bounds?
Whose arm's about to break?
Yeah, like what's going on? I mean, I'm going frame by frame and everything, checking this out to see if I could get. I'm trying to check tweets. I'm trying to what's going on? Who won this damn match?
We've never went to Reddit, but now we're like going to Reddit. We're looking at Wes's tweet. We're seeing if there's some kind of subcontext there. Here's my only thing with it. Now, if you talk to somebody from like Paramount Plus or the production, Boone and Murray, they're going to give this great explanation how, teasing to the next episode, this to be continued is great for ratings, whatever. But I gotta say that I think for certain kind of shows, that that way of doing things isn't always what it may have been yesteryear. That made a lot of sense in old television, Monday through Friday, There's always the shows at 8 o'clock. There's the shows at 10 o'clock, and you're watching them on the television. But in streaming, I don't know that you need to give us that because I feel kind of cheated. I came into this episode wanting a winner and a loser. Like if I don't get a loser out of every episode, I can't keep watching. So,
Well, so now that we've come
well,
to
can I finish?
that,
Don't forget what you're saying. Well, let me finish. So the only thing I'm saying is, if we come back, oh, you better give me a pole wrestle, for the ages, because it can't just be a payoff. That's just who was the winner. It better be the pole wrestle. So that's all I'm saying.
okay. As I was saying, because you said you needed someone to win and lose and better be the pole wrestle. From normal years, I would say, because we didn't get a winner or loser this one, we normally get one. And then they'll stop it on the second one, and we don't, there's the teaser.
Okay.
This time, they've given us two. Now, there is in the preview a picture, it looks like it's Kellyanne and Kayla kind of next to each other, like they're about to get ready to do something. It kind of looks like they're about to do a pole wrestle, but it may be something entirely different. We don't know. Maybe they bring them up. But they hardly ever save two eliminations for the next day. Now, we know Veronica left, and they picked Kellyanne, but do we know if the girls ever even compete on the next
Well,
episode?
did you see them in the next on the challenge? Did you see
It
them in
kind of
competitive
looked
mode?
like they could have,
But it also could
but
have been. They could have also
but
like been in
so
their gear, walked up to TJ's line, or wherever they were
yeah,
supposed to
and
stand.
then said, "No, you guys are good."
Okay, so you're thinking
Because
about Veronica
because
leaving the same way when Tina left and when those other gals
hmm
left,
because
Jemmy.
numbers gotta stay the same, and when they stop it like this, we usually get one elimination. So I'm thinking if they would have went through with it and someone was going home, they would have showed the girls part. The girl would have went home
Hmm.
and then stopped it in the middle of the guys. But I'm thinking because there's only one elimination, that's why they stopped doing guys and we're like in the middle of it. But there's only one of them.
Mm.
But what do you
Good.
think on that?
No, I think that's a great calculation, and I can see how them not doing a women's elimination makes sense. Um, and I could also see how doing this tease makes you want to come back. But like I said, in streaming land, most people are streaming, most people come back. In the old TV watching world, you're flipping through the channel. So you might not have a inclination to come back next week or whatever. So you got to give something real compelling. Everyone wanted the payoff, but we won't get it. Who do I think is going to get the win? That is the question. I think, I mean, if we're it just feels like it's going to be Nehemiah. And I think that's hard for me because Nehemiah has not been my favorite. And, I don't like his confessionals anyway. Like he had a confessional that said he thinks that people something, I don't know what it was, a confessional, but it was like something like everyone wants and thinks I'm Zen now for myself, but in reality it's for their safety. Like he's gonna go ham or whatever. I just don't. Derek is such a likable character. He's had so many confessional persons of the week. um I would hate for him to go, but there's something that's making me feel like we're leading up to Nehemiah catching that win. And his bar is set so low this season, so all he's got to do is do one simple good thing. He'll look like a
Why is this
superstar.
bar set so low?
Well, because he hasn't accomplished much in comparison to anyone else.
I mean, he made the final, didn't he?
Well, we're not at
And
the
he's
final. We're not at the final yet.
no last season.
Did he make the final?
Yeah, and they almost. I mean, let's not talk about last yeyear's final because that
Okay,
was all.
because that was shaky. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, people said there was a what is it, challenge gods, and we're not touching it. No, no, no.
No.
Oh, Janelle. Anyway, so okay. Anyways, that's what I would say. Just off sheer feeling and maybe even TV editing, I would say that we're gonna get the Nehemiah win.
It's
Gonna.
tough. I mean, I've heard them both on different podcasts, and Nehemiah was kind of talking highly about himself here and there. But then, you take a couple steps back and say, well, if this season or not, and you're like, damn, did he win? And then, like in the week before, I hear Derek on the podcast, like, oh well, I don't, it's been my kind of season on stuff I'm not good at, the maze, the trivia, this and that. And I'm like, well, shit, did he win the whole thing? But
Yeah.
but then they walk it back, and you kind of hear both. I don't know. I think what we saw, they're about. It looks like Nehemiah has a better hand on it when they left off, in a better position. However, it looks like they're about to go out of bounds, which I would say TJ blows the whistle and they restart. So
Mm.
I don't even know
If this is the
after.
actual
Yeah,
matchup,
so
yeah.
like after the restart, anything could happen again. So that's my opinion. Is they're restarting with the girls. I just don't see. I mean, even though it looks like they're lining up to get ready for a pole wrestle
Mm.
in the preview, it just doesn't make sense to me why they would do two eliminations when they're one girl down and they didn't show it on this last episode.
Yeah, no, they're probably ramping it up, having them come up to the
But
line where they stand typically. Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I'm thinking.
Well, we didn't get the,
But
the
set up a poll. What do people think? You said Reddit. Where do we gotta go?
I mean, we don't look. That's the one thing we don't. When we do our show, we just go off the series itself, because going to all those teasers and like you do see some of the Twitter feeds, or things that are hypothesized. I feel like so many of them are such a crock that it's such a waste of time, and I think it doesn't allow us to do a good, honest job at giving a recap to the show that we just watched. I mean, let them tell it. The little things across the internet. I definitely didn't see Beth being the person coming in for the women. It's
Beth?
the ones I had heard. Beth was Rachel. And I thought, oh, that makes sense. Rachel's doing the challenge physical fitness show, and she's been gone for a while. I totally thought it made sense. So I don't try to take those seriously, but I try to use kind of what we're saying, thinking of different ideas, looking at the setup, saying, will they send a girl home? Probably not. Okay, who had the better handle? It's Nehemiah now, but that all it takes is going out of bounds, and then there's a reset, and then that's when Derek gets real. He uses his body height, I guess, and like brings it real low. Because if he does that, it's gonna be hard for Nehemiah to get to him too.
And sometimes that's just getting people to tire themselves out.
Uh-huh.
Type type of game as well. Try not to use too much energy early.
Well, remember, you got a Darrell who's a superstar, and then he lost to Jordan essentially just because of the physicality in the long run.
Yeah.
The stamina. Confessional. Oh, anything else as far as that goes, Richard? And then can you do your confessional person? I will say one of the least interesting confessional comments was, like I said, when Nehemiah said people thought I was
Oh,
in for
jeez. Well,
them.
you start it off then. Go. You do yours first, and
Why
I'll
do you get
follow
so
you.
mad when I tell you the truth about?
Well, no. Is he your? It sounds like he's your
I was just
professional of the
I
week.
was giving an example of one not to do. Now, what to
Oh,
do is do what Kelly did, which was say Kellyanne and say maybe I should get a job jumping off of helicopters. I just loved it. I don't need to explain it any more than that. I just loved it.
so is she your person for the week?
Yeah. Well, why did yes? Why else would I have said it?
All right. I think that was one of the quotes of the week. I'm going a little outside the box. I actually liked a couple Wes's things here and there, and I mean he threw Mario Kart in there. I always love Mario Kart. It's a big winner for me. But I'm going outside the box. It wasn't really a confessional. I'm going Johnny Bananas.
Oh, why? What? Oh, just for him lighting it up in the little time he had.
Well, the little time he was on, but more for the words that he said to Wes,
Mm-hmm.
and it was more about ego and how we used to be. I think he said pride before the fall, which was like, oh, that's kind of cool words. Like, what's more, your pride or before that? And then he says, if you want to go in and you want to make this big statement and big move, which I know you want to do and done in the past, um, go for it. But like pretty much saying it's not wise. But if you do, you're going to get um, going to benefit heavily by the stars. I don't. There wasn't a lot of quotes in this episode, I would say, but to me, just that little segment right there of him saying like, "Don't let your pride get the best of you," to try to go in just for stars and make a big statement, which was like the biggest message of the whole episode, I guess.
Mm.
But
Can that message be construed as playing too far under the radar? Remember, we don't like winners that don't play the game.
I mean, you got to win the game by winning the final. You got to get to the final. But we've seen so often in the past where it was Wes's pride before anything else, and that would get him in trouble and get though. I mean, we saw it in season 35 just not too long ago when he was working with Bananas, and then he goes heads up against Bananas and loses when he was actually in a good spot. But why did he do it? Because like he has more the ego, the pride. So
yeah.
So just the message to him, like, hey, no, keep it simple, stupid type thing, you know?
Keep it simple, stupid. I love it. Richard, we're out of here unless you have any last comments.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know who you want to go with the win. I mean, mine was a little out of the box. You want to choose Kellyanne? I'm fine with that. I mean, that might put her on the leaderboard.
It's my pick. It is. Yeah. I have a
Johnny
soft heart.
Bananas was just a fun one to throw in, though. It got you thinking.
Oh, let me see. Can we make it a teaser? Coming up on the next another random recap, we give the answer to that.
There we go. Kellyanne, she's definitely making her way on the confessionals of the week. She's getting better and better each week.
Okay, those are right now. It's between Kellyanne and Johnny. Let's not. We usually choose them per episode, but since we didn't have anyone that went home except for Veronica,
we'll tease our own.
We will not tell you who our confessional person of the week was until we finish with this pole wrestle.
So we're gonna have to look back at the tape.
Yeah, we're down to the wire. Only a couple more episodes. We gotta go because we have got busy.
I gotta go do my own confessional. TJ's calling again.
Is that what that means? Okay, TJ,
yeah.
Bye, or hi, or bye, or
later.
Go to CBS USA. We'll see you, Richard.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.